Cool. Oh yeah, so the next thing I wanted to try is to slow down time when you're aiming to make it like really intense. Don't know if we're going to have enough time, but let's give it a go. Okay, so right now we have a control split. We got a P1 control, and that is going to contain our shoot strength, and we emit shoot strength updated player and shoot strength, and then I guess in our game we want a time control. So I might actually just create a new node which represents time. So it's just going to be a normal node type without any additional value, and we're going to call this time manipulator. You thought you were getting a stream about game development, but now it's become an episode of Doctor Who. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this branch as a scene. I don't know what folder this belongs in. Oh, game. Yeah, game. Definitely game. Alright, so as part of our game, we've now got a time manipulator. And so what I want to do... Oh yeah, this won't work for... This is local multiplayer only, for sure. Not everything will be able to be one for one. So I think what I'll do is I'll release like a split races on the app stores, and then maybe start working on a sequel which has support for multiplayer. Because I want to release something like simple hopefully this week or next. And yeah, there's no way I'll be able to do the multiplayer in a week. Multiplayer is probably 2 times more complicated than the whole game itself in single player mode. I kind of want to do a couple of different modes as well. I did some playtesting over the weekend, and I think a racing mode would be received pretty well. And also, I probably should have started with the battle mode, but collecting stars is kind of a pretty shitty victory condition, I realize now. But I guess it allowed me to build levels without building a racing system. So I think adding a checkpoint system and doing a racing mode makes sense, and then doing a battle mode and just replacing the stars with like life, which I think should be pretty easy. And then with those 3 modes, a few extra levels, and some like visual like cosmetic love, I think that should be enough to release on the App Store. Okay, so we've got a time manipulator, and our game is going to need a reference to our time manipulator. So we're just going to say time manipulator equals $ time manipulator, right? On ready. And then when we're ready, we want to connect from our... Okay, I definitely think we need those controls up here. I was trying to be clever before, but controls P1 and controls P2. Okay, and here we can say controls P1 and controls P2. Cool. And you know what? I may as well bring these out as well. I'd rather have clear code than try and early optimize it. So, okay, controls 1, controls 2. Okay. So the next thing I want to do at the game level is I want to hook up our controls P1 dot connect shoot strength. I think it's called updated. Shoot strength updated. So whenever we update our shoot strength, we want to call the time manipulator and say the handler on controls shoot strength updated, right? And we want to do the same thing with the player 2 controls. Oh, and we need to make sure we spell things correctly. Okay. So now we just need to grab this value, this handler. Let's go over to our VS Studio code to write this. Okay, so these are all going to be handlers, so let's call this handlers. Func. And we're going to get a player number and a strength, right? And I'm going to just create a variable up here, and it's going to be called shoot strengths. And we're just going to set that to be an array of 0.0, I think, because they're integers. 0 and 0. And we're going to say shoot strengths of player number -1 is equal to strength. Cool. So that's pretty simple. So now we've just got a local copy of our shoot strength. And what we want to do here is we want to process. And here we want to get our max shoot strength is equal to, and in fact this may as well be a helper function. Max shoot strength, and we're going to return the shoot strengths dot max. Let me remind myself if Godot supports this method. Max, yeah. Okay. So we just return the shoot strength dot max, and you know what? That doesn't require a helper. Who am I kidding? Okay, so var shoot strength. We'll just say max. Var max is the maximum shoot strength, right? And I don't think we're going to do any time manipulation until we get above 50, right? So if max is less than 50, let's just return. What are you complaining about? Huh. Is Godot complaining about this? No. Alright, well, it looks like there is an error in... Oh, it is 8, character 6. Oh, we can't call this max. It's a reserved word. That makes sense. Okay, so var max strength is that, and if max strength is less than 50, then let's just return, and otherwise like engine dot time factor, I think it is. Godot time scale. So we're just going to change the time scale os.setScan. Okay. Cool. So we're just going to set the... We're just going to do set time scale to what are we going to set to? Wow. Func set time scale to value, and that's going to be value. Okay, and in fact what we might do here is just say var time adjustment equals 0, right? And then we can say time adjustment equals a linear interpolation of time adjustment a clamp we don't need to do the clamp here. Set timescale, and we don't actually need to pass that through, right? So we just say the time adjustment is going to be a linear interpolation, and I guess we'll go down to half speed. So we'll say the max strength over 100 over 200 plus 0.5, right? Well, actually we don't need to do that. So that's going to give us, and if we lerp by about 0.3. Okay, so what I'm thinking, right, is that So if the max strength is like less than 50, we don't do much. But then what we do is we lerp and we say the max strength. So if we're at like 50, hey Chubby Hat Panda, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. So we're going to say like, let's say, okay, in the case if it's 100%, it's 100 strength, we divide by 200 and we get 0.5. So that means our time adjustment is, and that just needs to be negative, right? So the lowest this can get is 0.5. And it'll be, when it's 50, it'll be 0.25. But it will be lerped at 50, so it will slow down quite a bit and then get progressively slower, which I think is nice. And then we set the timescale. So right now, we need to clamp this just in case, because it's going to be 1.0 minus time adjustment, right? And we always want to clamp this between 0.5 and 1, right? Otherwise, we need one more parentheses. We don't want the game to slow down to a point that it never progresses, right? That would just be horrific. Returns of value not less than the max. Okay, what do you clamp? Oh, like that. Okay, so actually this here should be our desired, right? And we set the timescale to desired. And I kind of want to use some of the audio bus system. Why are you complaining? Delta, never called. Oh, yeah. So I kind of want to get the audio buses and manipulate them as well. Godot get audio bus. So like as time slows down, I want to add some reverb and a few other effects, pitch, maybe some pitch scaling. So we've got a pitch shift on the master bus and some others. So, and some reverb. We'll put a pitch shift on the master bus and some reverb, and then as time slows down, the reverb will increase and the pitch will decrease as well. Yeah, I get you, but what does the OS give us? Audio buses, audio server. There we go. This is what we want. Audio server. So get bus effect. Cool. All right. So that's going to be pretty easy, I think. We don't even know whether that's working. So let's just verify that this is working before we move on. Okay. And so I'm zooming along, and then the player starts to load up a weapon, and something happens. It should be timescale equals, right? Okay, that was my bad. I mean, to be fair, most things here are my bad. Whose else would they be? Okay, so we're zooming along. Let's load a missile. We're zooming along, and then player 2 starts shooting, and what do we get? Timescale is not. Hold on. Godot set time scale. It's engine. Dear, dear, dear. Okay, so it's engine.set timescale. Cool. So we load up a weapon, start zooming along, and come on. I need to remember these shortcuts. Command B and stop is command period, right? Yeah. And pause is command. Okay. Yeah, okay, so it's not set. Okay. Deary, deary me. Okay, so I'm zooming along and I start so many GD files. They're actually all quite small. And then I start loading up and the game gets slower. Maybe even slower than that. Let's have a look. Maybe it should be slower than that. Oh, it's because this needs to be positive. That's why we weren't seeing an effect. Thanks. There's a little, I need to make sure there's a 1 pixel boundary because of the way we're doing the tile system. Because like, you can see there's some bleed from the other tiles because the way the render is working. I don't know why that is. Okay, so I'm zooming along and then the player starts to slow down time. It's not quite feeling like there's a big shift in time, to be honest. So let's just print what the desired value is. Desired time, and we'll put in desired here and just figure out what we're doing. Because if it's slowing, it's supposed to be slowing down by like half, but it doesn't really feel like that. Maybe we need it. Okay. So if we bring that up, we could bring it right up and then allow this to go all the way down to 0.1. Make it really dramatic. and then it's never it's never really fixing itself at that point, is it? Okay, and then I guess what we want to do so time adjustment is going to be 100 of 100 up to about 1. And then I guess we're just going to say time adjustment is going to loop down to 0 very slowly, right? I guess what we want to do is actually connect the shoot as well to the time manipulator. So we'll say shoot is on controls shoot, right? Cool, and we'll just do that for the other player as well. So when we shoot, we sort of want to release our time manipulation. So okay, and then we just need to implement our time manipulator handler. So on controls shoot, and I think we are going to get, let's just remember what we're getting from the signal. We're getting shoot strength and the player number. Okay. So what we want to do here is we just want to say equals 0, and we don't care about the strength. And actually we want to adjust downwards. And this we want to do like this. Okay, cool. So that's going to give us sort of a maybe we'll just keep this like clamped at 0.25. And what we can do is we can just use audio effects to make it feel like time is going slower. Right? So there's no reason to slow the game quite so much. We can just do it with audio. Because it's, you know, I guess it's not just like really for the gameplay, it's for that feel, like visceral excitement of like, he's gonna shoot me, he's gonna shoot me, right? I don't think it's really gonna make a big difference to the gameplay itself, so it's more like a cosmetic thing. Because all the cool kids are doing time manipulation in their games. Didn't you notice?